Bloody hell. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Jose here on my squeaky chair, welcoming you to another episode of Amazing Worlds, where today I am going to be reviewing American Psycho by American author Bret Easton Ellis. So join in for what is a pretty wild ride. So some of you may be thinking, how does this book fit into the overall theme of the channel? And the answer is, I don't know, I don't care. My channel, my reading, my books, I review what I feel like. And to be honest, this is pretty horrific. This is actually more horror than some stuff I've read that I've got here on the shelves. So let's dive in. American Psycho, written back in 1990 by Bret Easton Ellis, deals with a sort of corporate raider financier from way back in the late 80s, early 90s, and it's sort of immersing us in that world of high financing Wall Street. So for those of you of a certain age that may remember the movie Wall Street with Michael Douglas, is that kind of character, certainly referencing the corrupt people that made hundreds of millions in those days and ended up in prison. So Michael Milken and a few other people from the time get referenced in the book. So it's set in late 80s, early 90s, Manhattan, New York. And please ignore the movie adaptation, okay? The movie is tame, the movie is PG, everyone can watch that movie compared to what goes on in the book, all right? So, the book, not the easiest of introductions into the story, not the easiest read, because, and I get it, and I get why, but the character is so obsessed. So our main protagonist, Patrick Bateman, is so obsessed with looks and looking and appearing to be, you know, going to the nicest places, nicest restaurants, wearing the smartest clothes, discussing sartorial elegance, that he describes to the biggest detail what every single person he encounters is wearing: the brand of clothes, the shirt, the cufflinks, the trousers, the shoes, this, that, the other, and it gets irritating. And I get why the author was doing that. That sort of criticism of that really fixation on the superficial, on appearances, style of a substance type thing, but it gets grinding because there are parts of the book where it's a whole paragraph on it's just brands of clothes he was wearing, and it gets a little bit grinding. The narrative is a little bit rambling. It's just sort of vignettes, snippets of his day-to-day life, going to this restaurant, going to that bar, going to this club, taking drugs, and for 100 pages kind of nothing happens. We just introduced to this world, but then, oh my god, things start to happen. So it's the kind of book that no one would possibly publish in the present day and age, and certainly not the kind of book that any white heterosexual man could possibly write and get away with. It was a different time back in the 90s when the book was published, maybe aided by the fact that Bret Easton Ellis was gay, because the level of violence towards women and ethnic minorities in this book is off the charts, it's off scale. I mean, the book apparently, when it came out, I've been doing some bit of research, it was sold, in some places, it was sold shrink wrapped, so people wouldn't be able to read it because the violence is so graphic, it's so descriptive, and the sex scenes in there are so detailed that I've seen tamer porn videos on the internet that some of the scenes discussed in the book, it is outrageous, and it gets worse and worse and worse as the sort of moral compass of Patrick Bateman deteriorates throughout the story. The sex scenes become way more are more perverted. The violence and the torture of the prostitutes gets way more graphic and way more disgusting, and it's pretty gruesome, actually, pretty gruesome. And what I found about the book is that it is so, the point it was trying to make, and this criticism of that kind of world and those kind of people, is so in your face that it's got the subtlety of a that's right. It just hits you in the face. There is no question. There's no interpretation. It's very clear what the author was trying to convey in this book. I do suppose, though, that the author plays a little bit with the reader, because you do wonder, I did wonder when I read that, whether some of the actions that the main character takes happened just in his mind, or in reality. Is he a deranged person? Is he a high-functioning psycho? I suppose hence where the title comes from. Did he actually do the things that he says he does in the book? Because, and you realize very quickly, the conversations between characters are rambling. It's like no one is listening to anyone. This guy is talking about clothes, and this guy is talking about traveling, and this guy is just moving on to something else. And in several instances in conversations, Patrick Bateman mentions that what he's going to do tonight is murder someone or kill someone, or I've done this, and people just ignore him, or they just laugh it off, and no one takes him seriously. So is he a reliable narrator, or is he not? In more than one instance, people are addressed by the wrong name, and they are confused, or you are confused, or Patrick is, everyone is confused. Is he who he says he is? Is he someone else? Is that person that one? So there's a lot of going on there to lead you to believe that Patrick obviously is not right in the head, but is it all in his mind, or is it not? At one point, he describes murdering someone, but that someone is later on seen somewhere else. So what happened there? What is going on? And spoiler alert now, at the end, he gets away with everything. There's no repercussion for him. If he did all the things he did, he doesn't get caught. The book just moves on, and it happens, and that's it. So, I guess in summary, what I'm trying to say is that it lacked subtlety, and therefore I don't understand the high praise that the book has received over the years. So, if we read some of the blurb at the back, from the Washington Post, American Psycho is a beautifully controlled, carefully important novel. Blah, 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 blah. A seminal book. Norman Mailer, great American novelist, quote, the first novel to come along in years that takes on deep and Dostoevskian themes. Ellis is showing all the authors where their hands have come to on the clock. The Sunday Times. Serious, clever, and shatteringly effective for its savagely coherent picture of a society lethally addicted to bluntness, it should be judged by the highest standards. Too much for me, too much hyperbole there, not really. My preference would have been for a bit more subtlety in its message. The shock horror for the sake of shock horror, yeah, I mean, I'm okay, I'm alright, I can read those things, I'm not scandalized, I'm not gonna tell people not to read it. However, if you're of a certain predisposition, if you're gonna scream blue murder, no pun intended, because our main character is quite blatantly misogynistic, racist, and any other est that you wanna add to it, then the book is going to annoy you. The book is going to make you angry. Don't pick it up. But if you can just understand it for just a character. It is a character that happens to be that way. And maybe, perhaps, it does reflect what some people may be like. Then, I don't know, you may just find it too much. I found it too much, but not in a way that I couldn't take, but too much in a way of, could you, I don't know, just give me a bit more nuance. Just give me a bit more, I keep saying it, but don't make it so obvious. And if your message, if the point you're trying to make across, it is so clear, then I don't need 450 pages of a book to get it. So I wish that the character had gone. I mean, the character goes through some sort of deterioration, but at the end, he doesn't become self-aware. He doesn't really. But there's no catharsis at the end. There is no revelation. There's no change because A, B, C happened. And I think I was missing a little bit of that. But anyway, that's just my opinion on the book. I cannot stress enough, if you're sensitive to certain things, please don't pick it up, because there's nothing being held back in terms of the sex and the violence. Anywhere where your mind can go, this book goes, plus some. Okay. Anyway, that is it. That is the latest book I've read. So thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think. Spread the message. Spread the love. Take, as usual, loads of care. And I'll see you next time. Bye.